Does small stroke machines make less skin damage? A lot of people would think that since the small stroke machine is a small car and the bigger stroke machine is a big truck, the small car can make less skin damage. That is true and also not true. If you're going with one single pass, comparing those two machines, yes, the smaller stroke machine is making less skin damage. The reality is that a lot of people would use a smaller stroke tattoo machine and build many layers at the same area on the skin, and that move itself creates a lot of skin damage. A lot of people tend to think that building layers and values on the same piece of skin is a type of tattoo technique. I personally think that it's just a bad habit from drawing experience. That is when people want to apply their drawing habits onto the skin and not considering the skin damage they're making. A bigger stroke tattoo machine is a lot more efficient than a small stroke tattoo machine in many ways because it is more powerful, so you can get the skin saturated faster. So if you're confident at your tattoo skill, using a bigger stroke tattoo machine is definitely better than using a small stroke tattoo machine because you can put in the ink more efficiently to reduce the skin damage. So what about adjustable stroke machines? These machines are very popular because having adjustable stroke is kind of a selling point, and sounds perfect for people who don't know what machine to choose. Even though it sounds very nice, but my personal opinion over those machines is a no. Simply because the mechanism inside the machine is a lot more complicated than single stroke tattoo machines. And we all know when it comes down to machines, the more complicated it is, the easier they break. My opinion towards machines, especially tattoo machines, is to pick something that has a simple mechanism. If I do need every single stroke of tattoo machine, I would probably buy several different single stroke tattoo machines versus get one adjustable stroke tattoo machine. I know that a lot of people think that one big benefit of using the pen rotary machine is that you could use this one machine to do multiple things, but I feel like from my experience, I personally prefer to have 3 or 4 different tattoo machines on my station because I feel like the process of putting down my machine and then pick up a new one is faster than keep switching needles on my same machine. Not sure if it's an old habit from before that I used to have 5 or 6 coil machines sitting on the station, but I do feel like it's more convenient to switch out the machine comparing to constantly switching out my needles and adjusting the strokes. Does different skin types affect the tattoo machines? The answer is positive. For thicker skin, it is better to use a bigger stroke machine, and for thinner skins, it is better to use a smaller stroke machine. And it is also not just about the thickness of the skin, it is also about how elastic it is. For very elastic skins, you're supposed to use a longer stroke machine. And for, very flat and less elastic skin, it is better to use a shorter stroke tattoo machine. So then, besides the type of skin, it also comes down to the placement of the tattoo. For thicker and more elastic placement, you should be using a bigger stroke machine. For example, the back or the thigh or the ribs, those can handle bigger stroke machines. And for thinner areas, for example, the wrist or the neck, you should be using a smaller stroke tattoo machine. What stroke tattoo machine works the best for fine line tattoos? My thought is 3.5 to 4 mm. 3.5 to 4 mm is strong enough. If you're using something that's less than 3 mm stroke, I think the machine is too weak and the line would be not crisp enough, and you would have to go over your lines again, which create more skin damage. And if you're using a tattoo machine that has a stroke longer than 4 mm, I personally think it is too strong, the stroke is too long, And because the fact it can make a blowout line more easily, it will make you more hesitated, and it will build a habit of doing tattoos with light-handed motions. That is actually a pretty bad habit, because being light-handed can cause you to do multiple layers, multiple passes on every single tattoo you make. That creates more skin damage. What stroke length works the best for black and gray tattoos? My answer to that is 3.5 mm. Even though the black and gray tattoo style contains a lot of smooth shading, but it would for sure have some black color packing part. So if you use a tattoo machine that's has a smaller stroke than 3.5 mm, it would be hard for you to pack black. And if you're using a tattoo machine that has a longer stroke than 3.5 mm, it is definitely doable for black and gray tattoos, because I use 4 mm strokes only. But it would require the tattoo artist to be more confident with their tattoo skills, because with the strokes being longer, it is harder for your shade to look smooth. What stroke length works the best for color packing? The answer to that is 4 mm. The 3.5 mm stroke tattoo machine can work with color packing if you're a little bit heavy-handed, or if you are good at adjusting your own hand pressure, meaning if you can apply more hand pressure to your tattoos, you can use a 3.5 mm to do colors. But I personally still find the 4.0 mm stroke tattoo machine best for color packing, because remember, color pigments are bigger than black ink, and with a tattoo machine that's a little bit more powerful, it can make the color packing process a lot easier. What is a direct drive machine and what is a CAM machine? A direct drive machine connects the motor directly to the needle. That means it is more direct, like whatever comes out from your machine is a little bit more harsh. You could understand that way. In simple words, a cam-driven machine can make tattoos look softer, versus a direct drive machine, you can't cover any mistakes. So, to my opinion, a direct drive machine is perfect for beginner tattoo artists, because personal opinion, when you are at the training stage and trying to build up your tattoo skills, it is good to use a tattoo machine that is less forgiving. At stage 1, the training stage, it is better not to cover up all your mistakes or potential mistakes. If you want to know what is a tattoo machine I recommend for my own tattoo students, you can reply beginner in the comment for this video, and I can send you the list I made for my beginner tattoo students, including the tattoo machine and all the other supplies you need.